Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. Today is March 19th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 79. Today we're going to be talking about United Air incidents, Valve sharing is caring, a global cyber security standard, Lego D&D, Nova Outburst, do Eclipses trigger events? No, they don't. This suspect is a blockhead, edible blue-green algae honeybees, Tulip Detection AI, and not remotely close to promotion, says Dell. Dell. Yeah, I'll let it. I am Merwat, that is ohmTown.com, and up there is the sentient AI's visualizer. It's kind of going a little crazy.
It is. Good evening, ohmTown citizens.
Are you talking to yourself?
No.
I'm a little worried. Well, let's get into it. So, warning. I rebooted OBS.
Oh, no.
Yeah, things might go a little hinky. And there's an update which may make it go even hinkier. But that's okay. We've got everything all set up, so let's knock them down. 10 pins, the very first article. It's over in ohmTown Daily. Guess what else has a 10 for?
I don't know.
United Airlines suffers 10th incident in 2 weeks. A flight bound for Japan was grounded before takeoff at San Francisco International Airport due to mechanical issues. See, now, unless this is really a big mechanical issue, I have no problems with a plane being grounded because it has mechanical issues. I would prefer that.
Right. We don't want it to just go, oh, well, we're missing a part or something. Let's fly.
Yeah. And don't worry about the door missing or the panel missing or a tire falling off. Meh. So, let's see. Held up for hours before takeoff on Monday because of a problem with the plane's engine. But after taxiing on the runway for more than an hour, the Boeing 777-200 returned to the gate and passengers and crew disembarked at around 1:45 p.m. A passenger said the right engine is not working. Okay. The incident was at least the 10th of its kind involving the airline in the past 2 weeks and came on the same day that the CEO of the company, Scott Kirby, emailed customers to assure them that the airline was safe following a slew of widely reported incidents, including a mid-engine fire, but I'm not sure what the cause of that fire was. I mean, if a bird strike occurs,
Right.
that
That's
can
not
happen.
necessarily a plane malfunction.
It's anomalous that it turns into a fire, I suppose, but if fuel is still being pushed into the combustion chamber, because it ignites once anyway, we won't get into jet engine technology, but anyway, a lot of compression, a little bit of fuel, and you get boom, plane go.
Do you think he had to update the message as he was writing it because incidents kept occurring?
We know you're aware of the 10. It's like in History of the World, I think it's called, where he drops the last 5. We have these 15, crash, 10 commandments. Yeah, all the last 5 were like how much you can party and stuff like that.
I guess we'll never know because they were lost.
We'll never know, and there's a joke about a burning bush here, but anyway. Unfortunately, in the past few weeks, our airline has experienced a number of incidents that are reminders of the importance of safety, he said. While they are all unrelated, I want you to know that these incidents have our attention and have sharpened our focus. So,
haven't they all been the same model? Mostly the same airline? Mostly the same airport?
Yeah, there were a lot of them from San Francisco. My gosh, I had no idea how many. This one was, where did this one actually fly out of?
I think it was Osaka to San Francisco.
So another one. No, it was supposed to depart San Francisco, bound for Osaka. So another San Francisco airport. What the hell is going on at San Francisco? Have they completely
That's what
wet
doesn't
the
make
bed?
sense. Like, are all the maintenance check people on strike, for instance?
Oh, here's the rundown. Look at that. March 15th, 14th, 9th, or sorry, March 15th, 14th, 11th, 9th, 8th. Another one on the 8th. 7th, 4th, and 4th. Dear God. If I was the CEO, I'd go, we're just going to voluntarily ground the organization until we actually hire people that can keep the glue stuck together on the wings. Oh my gosh, I know I'm going to get a body cavity check when I take a flight.
Well, and the thing here is that these are not things where they're generally being caught before they depart, right? These are things that are happening mostly in flight.
In the air, yeah. Hey, our engine isn't working. Oh, maybe we shouldn't take off. No, we got to go. All right, folks. Well, for whatever reason, the chat does not know that we have gone live. There. All right. Anyway, if you're in chat, welcome to the chat. There's the link to our article. Well, it's to Newsweek. Oh, you know what I didn't say? Chloe Mayer is the author of this article over at newsweek.com. I got carried away with the discussion. I was so excited. I guess I didn't take off properly. I fit right in. Make me a United Airlines pilot.
You need to circle back into the the maintenance check before you are ready to take off on the runway.
How about that? Does that work? Okay, let's keep going. Because Valve sharing is caring. This article's over on the Warcrafters channel on ohmTown.com, which is a new show. Yay. It's all about first-person shooters, real-time sims, RPG, etc., computer games. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Be sure to stick around for this coming weekend. Is going to be our inaugural show. We haven't done one yet. Hope we have enough, really exciting, newsworthy content. Yeah, we do. Who am I kidding?
Of course we do. This is ohmTown.
That's right. All roads, all information, all news, no noise. Other than this stream and the Warcrafter stream and the... you'll get used to it. Oh, by the way, all of the podcasts are now available. That are available, right? We've got 5 that are live. Only one is a daily. The others are weekly, but ohmTown Daily News Show. This show is the daily show. So Valve is improving how Steam family sharing works. But if your brother gets banned for cheating, so do you. Because, sharing is caring. And teamwork makes the brother get banned for cheating. No, that's not the saying, is it? So family sharing is a pretty great feature on Steam, simply put. It lets you share your game library with friends and family. So if you and your brother and your mom all want to play Helldivers 2, for instance, you don't all have to play it or buy it separately, as long as you don't have... As long as you don't want to play at the same time anyway. Yeah, that's the caveat there.
I didn't know that. I mean, isn't that what you would want to do, probably?
You would, but you would each have to buy it if you want to play it together. By the way, Helldivers 2 looks like a lot of fun. I don't have anybody to play it with. Because you have to play it. Like, you can play it and play it and play it. 30 minutes isn't good enough. You have to play it. It's kind of grindy. But it's a lot of fun. You kill bugs and you bring democracy. So for all of you who want to bring democracy to the bugs, you bring it hard. Anyway,
is this like insect bugs?
Insect bugs, yeah, not computer bugs or glitches. But it says that restriction was removed today, though, as Valve announced a pretty big overhaul of the system that combines Steam family sharing and the family view parental control system into one big package called Steam Families. So let's go over to the source of this. And before we do that, here we go. Let me throw this into the chat. Doink. So good news is Steam Families will finally let users on the account play games simultaneously. Andy Chalk over at PCGamer.com put the article together. What?
I thought they couldn't play simultaneously.
Well, see, that's what I don't get, because I thought that's still in place. But let's see what it says. Under the old system, if somebody was playing a game from your library, no one else could use that library at the same time. Now that limit is gone. You can't play the same game at the same time, but you can play something different. Okay. The way that was written in the snippet, right? You don't have to all buy it separately as long as you don't want to play the game at the same time anyway. That restriction was removed today.
Look like you could. Okay. It looked like you could play the same game at the same time from the other statement.
Yeah, and that's just not true. Yeah, okay. So what I knew was right, and that really kind of gummed up my works there. So yeah, if you all want to play the same game at the same time, you all have to purchase Helldivers 2 at the same time. Well, not at the same time. You have to each have your own license of it. We're really close. Come on, just a little bit more, Valve, just a little bit more. And you have First Sale Doctrine reintroduced to society. But right now, no, you don't. A $60 game can never be resold. It can be shared, but they have to be a member of your family. I would even pay a transaction fee, a relicensing assignment fee, whatever you want to call it. But I would love to be able to sell a game that I purchased, maybe even at current market prices if you can't buy the game somewhere else. But whatever, let me sell my game, because I have a bunch of games that I'm just never going to play again, but I'm stuck with them. So Steam Families
1, 2, 3 purchase. That's our simultaneous purchase requirement.
There you go. So yeah, essentially now you can share the games as long as somebody else is not already logged in. The way that it used to be, though, in fact, I have to try this because a server that's running, if I log into my Steam account on a different computer and then I log in here in the studio, it disconnects me from the other connection. So I wonder if they fixed that, but I don't recall hearing about that. There's also a new option aimed at simplifying the process of purchasing games for children. Instead of having to purchase a gift card for the kids or hand over the credit card, that's not true. Child accounts will be able to simply request that an adult account in the family group pay for whatever is in their shopping cart. But
okay, that'll be kind of like what Apple does right now, right?
Right, yeah. But you can gift games to anybody at any time. I'm not sure. It's weird. It says instead of having to purchase a gift card, but you don't have to purchase a gift card. Not for kids, not for anybody. You can just purchase it and gift it to them. They get a code and put it in, whoever it is. It doesn't matter if it's kids or anybody else. Just make them your friend and you can send them a gift. This is a little bit more clunky, I'd say, but hey, whatever. So that example also explains another new aspect of Steam Families, pooling copies of games. Before now, library sharing was a one-to-one exchange between two accounts. Now, Steam Families will automatically pool their Steam libraries together so that if a child A and child B don't own Portal 2, they can seamlessly borrow copies owned by parent A and parent B. Of course, there are still some restrictions, etc. Apparently, Valve later clarified that a family member can rejoin the former family group immediately without any cooldown as long as they're invited back, which makes sense, but isn't it funny as an idea of dad being mad for a whole year because he can't use the family Steam account? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what happens? Like, if you get banished from the family, you might be putting your Steam account at risk.
Yeah. Oh, and this whole thing is very Apple-ish, you know? Oh, by the way, Fallout 76 is ready to play. Never mind, that doesn't have any meaning in our discussion, but Steam just let me know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know where that was coming from.
I'm reinstalling Fallout 76 and Fallout 4 VR. All right. So it's pretty cool. It says Steam Families is now in beta testing, so it's possible that some aspects of it could be adjusted over fully being rolled out. Yeah, this is all very, very Apple-esque, where you have Steam Family and everybody shares a pool. Everything is pooled together, and only people in the family actually see these pooled resources. Yeah, naturally, only one person per license. I get it. I think that this is great. We're moving forward in
Right, how many years did it take?
Yeah, quite a while. We're really one big step away from getting where I really want to be, which is that resale, for sale doctrine option where I want to sell a game. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep on going unless you want to talk more about this.
No, I don't have anything else.
The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. We're one step closer to a global cybersecurity standard for smart home devices. This Internet of Things concept has always been dragged by weak security, and it's
and microwaves that spy on us.
Now stop that. That is only one Looney Tune saying that. Well, maybe a bunch of them, but still, they're loony. So as useful as connected devices like video doorbells and smart lights are, it's wise to exercise caution when using connected tech in your home. Now, yes, a device that has a microphone or a camera could be hacked. Usually it's because of an Internet of Things device that is either improperly configured, or the manufacturer didn't give one iota about security, and or your network isn't secure enough. I recommend not only each computer, desktop computer primarily, but tablets and other devices can have software firewalls on them and can block certain communications. And the network
So you don't
itself,
need to put like your microwave in a Faraday cage?
No, just leave it running 24/7 and the door open, and it acts as a Faraday signal blocker. It's a microwave signal jammer. And not only that, is depending on how often you're near this running microwave, you might gain superpowers. Microwave person.
Yes, a supervillain creation, I think.
Yes. So until now, there really hasn't been a way to assess product security issues, or its profile, its threat profile, but that's not quite true. Security researchers have been messing around with security, the security of Internet of Things devices since they came on the scene. Something that's really needed, though, is a framework and something public where if you don't fall in line, then maybe it's going to impact your sales. The problem there, though, is liability for security related matters. If something is flagged as meeting the minimums, it may never get updated, and a 0-day is still present, unknown, and exploited, and people assume that it's safe. So that brings up this article here.
That's almost worse than no certification to begin with, right?
Correct. The false negative, right? Like if you assume that your property is safe, and so you don't worry about locking the door, somebody's going to come walking through because there was a gap in this outside security. So this article over at The Verge, Jennifer Pattison Toohey is the author, and again, the title is "We're One Step Closer to a Global Cybersecurity Standard for Smart Home Devices." The deck statement says the organization behind Matter, which is a protocol that allows Internet of Things devices to communicate to each other without having a proprietary base station or something like that. Like Hue lights have these little base stations. They only handle a certain amount of devices, and they've been upgraded over the years. But now the Hue bulbs are becoming Matter compatible, and so you can get rid of the hubs. Arguably, I'm not sure fully. Matter, though, is launching a new product label that should make it easier to determine whether your smart home gadget is secure. But the label, like
But
I
wait,
said,
there's more.
Yeah. So it'll have this little flag on it, verified product security, right? Unfortunately, like I said earlier, anything that has this tag on it from the Connectivity Standards Alliance, the group behind the smart home standard Matter, that little flag, that designation as meeting requirements, well, it can invoke trust. And trust, when it comes to technology and cybersecurity in particular, is waning. Why? Because over time, new exploits are discovered, even in the oldest, hardened, well, how do you describe it? Most secure devices. Something else pops up because somebody digs deeper or finds some way of compounding what would have been an innocuous feature into something that does security elevation, rights elevation. And then they have access to your network because they gather up something that allows them to gain access, or implant something like a backdoor that allows them to have root access to some device. And then all hell breaks loose. Then it just takes surveillance, grabbing some packets, figuring out what your email address is, what your password is, etc. Poison portals and stuff like that. It's a thing, but somebody has to be really ambitious and want to invade grandma's network.
Exactly. I mean, what are they going to really get? Like, is that really where they're going to put their efforts? Maybe it's easier in terms of lower security, but what are they really going to gain access to?
So it's a target-rich environment out there. So if somebody breaches something and it doesn't turn up anything, it's not a big deal. But maybe grandma has a large cache of money in the bank. If they gain access to the email, then they can reset the bank password. Once they have access to the bank, they can exfiltrate that money and delete all of the confirmation stuff, because grandma doesn't have two-factor authentication. Because she, and like many other people, believe that it's somebody else's problem to deal with. Well, go and look up what happened to Home Depot and the chief security officer of that company, who said, "Don't worry about it, we sell hammers." And then they were part of the biggest breach in the United States. So Lederman,
yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, and it's old. So there's been bigger breaches. Look at 23andMe, which now is easily going to be able to rebrand
23 million and me.
23 million, and everybody knows us. Lederman is part of the CSA working group that defined the 1.0 spec for the program, which has been developed by over 200 member companies of the CSA. So the CSA is the Connectivity Standards Alliance. That's what is up here. So I had said it earlier and then went off on a soapbox. Sorry, everybody. So you're going to get this product security verified mark. And I just, any standard mark without constant review and then revocation for laziness is wasted. You're basically going to imply security in a device, but it's going to be based on the current, whatever that particular day's analysis dictated, which means there's going to be flaws discovered at a later date and exploited, and nobody's going to be updating it unless one of the requirements is constant review and remote updating.
Well, right. And then what about when things go to various retailers, or they go to outlets or discount places, etc. I mean, I just don't see this really being tracked. And then by the time it makes it to the consumer, it might be well after it was actually manufactured. So even if the company is making updates available, like, is anybody tracking it as
Yeah,
it goes through different, retailers?
yeah, and I think that you're actually thinking further ahead than maybe even the group. Because here are the highlights of the requirements. A unique identity for each IoT device, which actually does some good and some bad. That means that people can become a target and remembered target. Like I could sell the unique identity to somebody on the darknet and say, hey, this device is here. And it's a unique device. No hard-coded default passwords, which hard-coded I understand, but you're going to have default passwords nonetheless. Depending on the complexity of it, it could be an issue. Secure storage of sensitive data on the device, which if I have full access to it, then I can exfiltrate it regardless. Secure communication of security relevant information, except that basically is a signed security certificate, which if I have full access to it, I can exfiltrate, I can change. Secure software updates throughout the support period, but the support period could be what, 6 months? I purchased a piece
And
of
is it
equipment.
from point of manufacture or from point of sale?
And regardless, if I don't get secure updates, regardless, I'm sorry, but you're basically setting me up for failure at some, or I should say compromise at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Secure development process, including vulnerability management. That's fine. That's even external of the device. The update though, should be constant through its entire life. If somebody pulls, and here's one of the problems. I used to have an old Ring camera before it got acquired, and at one point they stopped support of it. And so I ditched that because I was like, no, there's no way. And so the vendor that I use now is really hot on the heels of babysitting their equipment. And while they may have been compromised a couple of times, yeah, and it is a couple of times, they've patched it really quick and they're responsive to their users, arguably. But back to this. Public documentation regarding security, including support period. So, okay, part of the requirements is them disclosing that you only have 6 months of support. Big deal.
Which is like nothing in the lifetime of an item's ownership.
Yeah, so this is going to create a little bit of friction for its development and release into the market, but hopefully that downward trend of people buying unsigned or untagged Internet of Things devices is going to mean more people voluntarily apply for the program and then meet the requirements. It'll be fine. We'll see what happens. But I think it says better security, but still not perfect. Follow this link and check it out. They're not going to say anything, I'd say, beyond what I've summarized, but like Hannah cautions against setting expectations too high. Some companies are excited about it to recognize the work that they've already done, but we shouldn't expect every product to have this. If or when these become required by governments, that's where the rubber hits the road. You will probably never get an Internet of Things requirement to have a tag by the government. It's just, then it becomes, well, we can't actually make this happen, so we want government subsidies or something like that. I mean, there's all kinds of mealy-mouthing stuff around this. It should be incumbent on the device manufacturer to make their devices secure in perpetuity. And if they have a device that they can't update in perpetuity, then they need to offer up a replacement service solution where they can trade in their older devices for destruction and get a new one that still has the ability to be updated in perpetuity. If it costs the company a little bit to their bottom line or their future profit margins, so be it. But you should not be allowed to produce an item and let it languish in obscurity until it's breached, compromising the integrity of a network and the lives that are on it.
Well, I mean, isn't that the current model for everything?
Ethics.
At least the languishing part, not so much the rest of it. But
Ethics is the smallest chapter of every organization's. That actually, what you just said and what I just said triggered something that happened today, and I'm gonna have to move on. Oh, it got me so irritated. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Just to finish the phrase, ethics is the smallest chapter of every business manual, and when it comes to security, ethics doesn't even come into it. They go, well, if it doesn't make economic sense, pure economic sense, which again brings me to something, because I practice associative thinking, and so what happened in my head just now was I bounced across 5 different areas of thought, and culminating in making a comment about economics of this, right? I spoke to an economist today about the fact that prices for certain things are going through the roof. And they said, well, it's caused by inflation. And I said, okay, what causes inflation? Well, people raise their prices. Okay, who raises the prices? Well, the retail side raises the prices. Well, why do they raise the prices? Well, because the suppliers raise the prices. Okay, why do the suppliers raise the prices? It's because something from their side gets increased. And I say, okay, so what raised the prices on them? And they're like, well, at some point it becomes a circle. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. A whole bunch of money went into the system, and that diverged the conversation to, well, a whole bunch of monetary policy led to a massive influx of cash. And I said, right. And all of that money was should have been distributed as wages, but it didn't. And when it did get distributed as wages, the people were forced to buy things at a higher cost because greedy bastards. And everybody in the room was like, oh, that's your point. And then they dismissed the conversation as, oh, it's just Mayor Watt talking about fiscal policy again. Well, look around you. The greedy bastards might be your neighbors. Let's keep going. And just so y'all know, I am a capitalist. I believe in the capitalist ideal. Enterprise should offer a service for a fee. If you believe that it should be worth more money, then fine, so be it. But there's certain things that there's zero bargaining power, like healthcare and food and rent. There's only so many places that you can live and make a livable wage. At some point, when the greedy bastards are setting the baseline price and it's increasing faster than salaries are going up, and then we're connected to some other thought. So I have to stop and just move on to the next article. So this next article is over in ohmTown Daily, and this is about a Lego brand brick set. Legos, I'm going to read it verbatim.
No, it's not Legos.
I know, but that's the title of this. Lego's 3,745-piece D&D set comes with its own playable adventure. That's right. The snippet that we aggregate says, grab your dice and... I'm sorry, I started giggling because I was thinking something else. Grab your dice. Oh, by the way, Stream Elements just now posted in chat that the show is live.
Wow, there was a little bit of a lag. Is there a way to activate that before you actually start the show? So that by the time it catches up?
Yeah, announcements go out to everybody right when we launch. So, but Stream Elements so grab your dice and get ready, literally, to assemble your adventuring party next month. LEGO has finally unveiled the 3,745-piece Dungeons & Dragons set it co-developed with, speaking of greedy bastards, Wizards of the Coast, as the tabletop role-playing game celebrates its 50th anniversary and leans into its sociopathy. The $360
that is
set...
not an article.
No, that is not. But that actually matches the price, like the standard pricing, right? $360 set for 3,745 pieces.
Oh, absolutely. That's spot on.
Called Red Dragon's Tail, was inspired by Lucas Bolt's fan design, Dragon's Keep Journey's End, and retains many of the same features. There's a tower, a bridge, a tavern with a removable roof, and yes, both a dungeon and a dragon.
I mean, I would expect those two elements at minimum.
I love that the snippet is the complete like thing, like a little mini summary.
Right.
Jess Weatherbed over at The Verge put the article together. The deck statement says it includes legendary D&D critters like Myconids, a Beholder, a Displacer Beast, and yes, a massive red dragon.
And is it said in that voice?
Every time you say
accent?
anything about it, you have to actually say it like that. Yes. So it would work kind of like this. LEGO has finally unveiled the 3,745 piece Dungeons & Dragons set it co-developed with Wizards of the Coast as a tabletop role-playing game celebrates its 50th anniversary. That's right. That's actually pretty refreshing to talk like that. So this is what it looks like. It's over at The Verge. Let me... Oh, I did throw the link in there. There we go. So there's your Beholder. There's a bunch of whatevers. They say they spy with many, many eyes a Beholder in this lineup that they can use in their next campaign. So I absolutely love
it looks like it comes with a lot of minifigs.
It does. Isn't that pretty exciting? I love minifigs. I think that they're great. These, though, aren't all the same size. Right? This one is a little shorter. That one has a helmet, but these are all the same size. But this guy looks a little shorter.
Yeah, that's odd because normally the minifigs are kind of similar.
Yeah,
and you could put on accessories, etc.
I thought they're all supposed to be the same size. Mm-hmm. A gelatinous cube with a skeleton piece inside it. It's pretty neat, folks. Look, I'm pretty excited about this. I think I want this. Oh, look, a mimic. That's a chest that when you go to open it, it eats you. And that, just treat wild animals like a mimic in D&D. If you approach... I watched a video of some numbskull that was feeding a black bear at her front door, and she's been doing it for a while. Another one had gotten eaten because she was doing that from a fence, and the bears grabbed her.
Right. I mean, we can see where that's going to go. It's
Yeah.
not going to end well.
Yeah. And then, well, it just gets worse from there. But anyway, don't try and feed a Beholder. Don't sit there and try and pet an owlbear. Definitely don't try and open a mimic, okay? They're gonna eat you. Oh, there it is, look. The free mimic dice box is the perfect prison for any dice that disappoint you one too many times. That's right. Because if you keep on rolling a 1 on a 20-sided, into the mimic it goes. Go ahead and eat it. Okay, well, anyway, go check out this article. I want this set, but I don't want this set because it's $350 freaking dollars. I just can't justify Lego prices. It's not like I sit around and play with my... Hey, a new show. I could build Lego... Never mind. I have a whole table over here. I mean, it's 72 inches by 36 inches of table
of Lego space. Yeah.
Of Lego build. Yeah. I have an extra camera. I can... Anyway, if y'all want me to start building Lego, let me know. Maybe I can do that. I'll be Lego main on Twitch. All right, let's keep going though. We've got a bunch more articles and I'm just vamping like crazy. I'm having a fun time. So here in the Mobile channel over on ohmTown.com, astrophysicist explains science behind once-in-a-lifetime nova outbursts that will light up the sky this year. That is the name of my next band, Nova Outburst. and I'm going to only be on the stage in a gold thong. The total solar eclipse isn't the only reason to keep your eyes to the sky this year. For the first time in 80 years, a star system 3,000 light years away will be visible to the naked eye thanks to a once-in-a-lifetime nova outburst. Wawoomp.
Wow.
So let me throw that link into the chat. There you go, folks. You can follow that. And here over at phys.org, Cody Mello Klein from Northeastern University put this article together. And it says here, NASA announced that the nova, which will create a new star in the night sky, will light up. I am very, very embittered towards the person that told me that astrophotography is just going to remain the same stuff.
Yeah, was that really that accurate?
But they were the owner of the telescope company. Why in the world?
Maybe they were a disgruntled worker at the telescope company.
No, I know who it is. They were the owner of the business. Now, and they're like, look, if you're not hardcore into this, don't even worry about it. Just download the pictures from the internet because, you know, the stars are there and they're always going to be there. Really, this is a brand new star and I could have been the one taking a picture of it. Be awesome. I'm getting a little whiny. Anyway, one of the only 5 recurring nova in our galaxy. It will be visible for a week before it fades back down. Jonathan Blazek, an assistant professor of physics at Northeastern University, says this is an exciting moment for amateur astronomers and astrophysicists alike. Son of a bitch. You know, amateur astrophotographers maybe too. I don't know.
They could have been in the mix if they knew to purchase astrophotography gear and weren't dissuaded by the astrophotography people.
I mean, that was the owner. Don't you want to sell me a $1,500 telescope for crying out loud? That's what I was looking at. Anyway, it's not technically a new star, just a star that's now bright enough to for people to see it more clearly. Blazek says it, but it provides an opportunity to see and understand the cosmos in a new way. So what is a nova? It's basically a star exploding. I'll sum it up. You can actually go and check it out. Follow the link. But it's going to flare up and then slowly die down. Outside the novelty of these nova, Blazek says systems like TCRB are particularly interesting for astrophysicists because they are prime candidates for Type 1a supernova, even larger stellar explosions that are integral to mapping the cosmos. Because the cosmos is really dark, and so when they explode, it's like turning on a flashlight, and you can see the area around it.
Well, right, I guess we always see in those space shows and whatever, right? It's like pitch black, but we don't think of it that way.
Yeah, we're at the stage where we have discovered dark energy using the supernova, but if we want to go to the next level of precision, we need to do a better job of really understanding deep down what these things are, how much variance there is between different objects, and things like that. And things like that. Talking about the supernova and the scale of the universe, and then goes, and things like that. Just kind of...
It's very technical.
Just kind of pat me on the head and say, go. Move along. So obviously you'll get a better view if you go somewhere dark, but if you go somewhere dark, you'll see lots of stuff up there, Blazek said, and if you want to have an easier time finding it, stay somewhere bright, and then you can only see the really bright stuff, so it'll pop out behind the Boston globe. So look for the really bright thing, and it's going to be the supernova. That was a very simple kind of discussion about this, you know?
Exactly, it was accessible.
Yeah, very approachable. Yes, pretty cool. All right, let's keep on going though. Can't have this nova outburst all the time. This next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Fact check: do eclipses trigger storms, quakes along the path of totality? So I'm going to lean into this right out of the way. There are people who are science educators, and there are people who are not. I am not one of those. I'm the person that speaks a little bit frank, a little bit blunt, a little bit honest, maybe two, right? Because I'm not going to sit there and go, okay, well, I understand what you're saying. And no,
Yeah,
no,
if the facts are wrong, the facts are just wrong.
that's right. No, eclipses don't trigger storms, quakes along the path of totality. Um, and and while I appreciate a person as a human being, spouting this type of bogus garbage is a waste of people's time. So I'm going to be blunt and honest about it. The article's over at newsweek.com, and people saying this have no idea what they're talking about. And in former periods of existence, people who said this stuff were summarily dismissed, and summarily dismissed hard. No, you
Yeah, I
don't
was
know
gonna
what you're
say
talking about.
dismissed may not be the right word for that.
Yeah, they were called out as being stupid. Move on. You don't know what you're talking about. But with the advent of the internet, clusters of people are banding together to be an echo chamber for falsehoods, lies, manipulations, etc., either to get a rise out of people or whatever. But anyway, this article is by Tom Norton. It's over at newsweek.com. And there have been people that are running around saying that you don't want to be anywhere near the path of totality because it's going to be the end times. But no, there is no evidence to suggest. You can take a bunch of data and go, this is what happens in the path of totality. But guess what? Move that path of totality anywhere at any time and not call it a path of totality, and you have the same type of stuff happening.
Exactly. It just happens to be in the same area at some time, but it's not caused by it.
Right. So, and this actually comes from Reddit. The Reddit post showed an earthquake hazard map in the New Madrid fault line near Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, Alabama. And a broken clock is right twice a day. So, hey, if something were to happen, they're going to beat their chest and go, look, I was right, I was right. If nothing happens, it's not like they're going to actually stand up, eat crow, and say, my bad, I'm actually a goober. So the claim is not supported by evidence. To state the obvious, the eclipse is more than 2 weeks away. The post on X from Fox 35... Wait. The post on the website formerly known as Twitter from Fox 35 Orlando meteorologist Berggren was published on
Did you
March...
actually say it?
I slipped. Yeah, I kind of stroked out there. Reporting on severe storms that affected multiple states across the U.S. His post is unrelated to the claims on Reddit. Yeah. So, taken out of context, anything can become just enough as a truth that people, without any critical thinking or doing any due diligence, fall prey to it. Don't fall prey to the people that are portraying themselves as subject matter experts. Don't even trust me if you're not interested in, if you don't believe what I say. And honestly, trust but verify. At some point, you may come to the conclusion that what I'm saying is founded in reality, and you trust what I say. And if you suspect something that I say isn't correct, call me out, throw it in chat, send me an email. I'm happy to change my perspective based on evidence that's factual, and I will do my due diligence as well. Just because you say something does not make it absolutely true. It may be true, and you may get bent out of shape that I don't just overtly accept it as if it is true, but understand my nature is to trust but verify. It says, while the path of totality of April's solar eclipse follows some of the trajectory of the storm, they are otherwise unrelated. Experts have also found eclipses may only have a small impact on weather and have no relationship with earthquakes. The only thing that is true of eclipses is that conquistadors might have shown up one day and said, if you give me all your gold, I'll bring back the sun. And then summarily executed everybody that resisted. Oh, and gave them like scurvy or something like that. I can't remember what all was going on. Anyway, Um, and all of this stuff, it just, micro changes in the environment doesn't sit there and shift the world's axis off and flip the poles and whatever else lunacy is being said. Yeah. Anyway, this actually goes into greater detail about all of the things that have been said, but none of us have any time for this.
Well, and right, if none of it's accurate, then the point is, first of all, look at your sources.
Yeah,
Secondly, it's an eclipse, but it's not like an apocalyptic event or something.
that's right. Well, unless the conquistadors suddenly return and take over your country. Here's hoping. No. I love this. Okay, so without even intending to do this, there are articles that are tied together in more ways than one across our news. I never intended this. Anyway, it's in the Marble channel. Why a California police department is replacing suspects' faces with Lego heads. The Murrieta, California Police Department has been placing Lego heads over suspects' faces in images taken during arrests and bookings. In a message posted Monday, the police department explained that on January 1st, a new law restricted how and when law enforcement agencies in California can share photos and mugshots. Police said images of suspects involved in nonviolent crimes are prohibited from being shared barring specific circumstances, citing Assembly Bill 994 and Penal Code 13665. Shocker! Innocent until proven guilty and not subject to the whims of the populace. That way a person doesn't have to do what happened to, I don't know, the postal office sub-postmasters in the UK.
The Horizon scandal associated with Fujitsu.
Yeah. So they were actually, and I actually got into a conversation about that today. I used it as an example of how we lean into technology to verify if somebody is a criminal, but if the system itself is flawed, then every finding from it is flawed, and you would have to retry everything and find in favor of the defense. So anyway, now in here, the identity is hidden for non-violent crimes. Violent crimes may need to be exposed because usually at that point they've already been identified as the violent offender. But even then, I think if it's a suspect and they're looking for somebody, a suspect of interest, a person of interest, then they have to identify, versus somebody that non-violent crime, whatever the case may be, they don't identify them until after the trial, unless they can't find the people, and then specific situations. So the article, yeah, I don't know if this article, if this video actually, if there's any video associated with this. Let me refresh it. No, it just talks about Miranda. So Tony Kurzweil over at thehill.com put this article together, and the deck statement says the Murrieta Police Department prides itself in its transparency with the community, but also honors everyone's rights and protections as afforded by law, even suspects. And I hate the way that they phrase this, even suspects, as if suspects are a lesser being.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
they've already,
it's not,
just because they are suspect in some action doesn't make them even suspects. No, it's equal right, honors everyone's rights and protections as afforded by the law. Shouldn't even say even suspects, because they're still regular people until they are charged and convicted of the crime. Very frustrating. I mean, I'm even I have an aversion to even referring to people that are on the opposite of the prosecution as defense, because it puts kind of a stigma on the people on the other side. And that too was mentioned in a discussion today. Anyway,
you had quite a busy day.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. So police said images of suspects involved in nonviolent crimes are prohibited from being shared, and that's why they put these little Lego heads. I don't know if Lego is really happy with this idea.
I suspect they're not going to like this too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah. I don't know if this is going to build the blocks necessary to bridge this issue of having a mugshot that's populated with Lego heads. Do you think that they're going to be able to connect the pieces and stop using this and do something else? I don't know. I guess we'll see what Lego says.
Maybe they'll just put all the pieces back in the box.
Oof. Start playing D&D. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Researchers use an edible blue-green algae. I have to say it like that. I don't know why. Anyway, an algae to protect honeybees against viruses. I always thought the plural is viri, but I guess it's viruses. Don't like the sound of it. Oh my gosh, what did I just do?
I don't know what's happening over there.
I hit the wrong button. Anyway, researchers use edible blue-green algae to protect honeybee against viruses. Scientists at the United States Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, Agricultural Research Service, the ARS, or the USDA ARS, or for those of us in the know, we call it the USDARS.
Yeah, they need to work on their marketing there.
And everybody dresses up as a pirate. Never mind. They've developed an edible antiviral treatment that can be used to protect honeybees against deformed wing virus, or DWV, and other viruses, according to a recent study published in NPJ Sustainable Agriculture. Do you think that's actually what it's called? NPJ?
I hope not. Especially not lowercase.
It actually is. All right. I don't know what that actually means. Nature, it's NPJ, Sustainable Agriculture is where it's published. So Agricultural Research Service put this article together. It's published over at phys.org. The findings are published in NPJ Sustainable Agriculture. And it says honeybees are important.
That's by Nature.
Yeah.
And that is actually the name.
NPJ. All right. I'll let it go. However, so it says honeybees are important agricultural pollinators. However, viruses, including DWV, are linked to the deaths of millions of colonies worldwide. DWV, like other viruses, are most often spread by Varroa mites, and it's these little black mites that show up inside hives who carry the disease inside them and infect bee colonies. Infection typically causes deformity and death in bees, especially in the pupa and brood. Those colony losses devastate beekeeping industries and pose a major risk to agriculture and the global food supply. I've just recently started hearing about this in the grand scheme of the last 50 years. How long have Varroa mites been impacting honeybee hives? I'll have to look into it.
Well, exactly. And why is it suddenly increased? And
yeah.
Or all of a sudden, it has suddenly increased, I should say.
What was it that was keeping Varroa mites at bay that suddenly they are impacting global bee survivability? And somebody that I regularly speak to, like every week, is interested in becoming a honeybee. What do they call a person that takes care of honeybees?
What is that called?
I just forgot it. Anyway, we found that engineered algae diet suppressed DWV infection and improved survival in honeybees, said Vincent Resigliano, research scientist at ARS Honeybee Laboratory in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We mixed it into bee food. The engineered algae boost the bee's immune system to fight off the targeted virus.
That's an apiarist or an apiculturist?
I'm going to go with what the AI said. So according to Resigliano, blue-green algae is the bee's knees of bee food additives. Resigliano and other ARS researchers previously studied blue-green microscopic algae, also known as microalgae, as a potential food source for honeybees. The algae showed promise since it has a nutritional profile that resembles pollen and is scalable to the level of commercial beekeeping. Some people who are into farming hydroponically actually grow blue-green algae because it has nutrition even for humans, apparently.
Like as a food source?
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to look into this because other people have been doing this, but I've never bothered looking into it. But I know of a couple people that are growing this in these big glass bottles, usually used for like beer and stuff.
Okay.
So anyway, blue-green algae grow via photosynthesis and can remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, making it an ecologically friendly approach to improve the health of honeybees. So a lot of good is coming from it, as long as it isn't a poisonous algae bloom at a beach impacting the sea life. So
yeah, algae can be very good or bad depending on the location and purpose.
Yep, size. Just if it's covering the surface, it's killing everything underneath it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, let's keep going. We've got 2 more articles for y'all. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. AI robot spotting sick tulips to slow spread of disease through Dutch bulb fields. An artificial intelligence robot is in a new high-tech weapon as the battle to root out disease from Dutch tulip fields as they erupt into a riot of springtime color. And then the Terminator AI eliminates them as they... Oh, sorry. That part isn't in the article. Let me throw this into the chat. There you go, folks. And so the article's over at ABC News. The video that's attached to it has nothing to do with it. I don't know if I refresh if it'll make a difference, but Mike Corder from AP put the article together. The deck statement says an artificial intelligence robot is a new high-tech weapon in the battle to root out disease from Dutch tulip fields as they erupt into a riot of springtime color. So the boxy robot, named after a retired employee of the Wham Pennings farm near the Dutch North Sea coast, is a new high-tech weapon in the battle to root out disease. The virus...
I think you need to pronounce the name of the town.
Oh, AI, you're supposed to keep me out of trouble. You know what? It's pronounced Norm.
It might be, but it doesn't look like it.
I'm going to try it. Nordwijkerhout. Take that. Now it's your turn.
Not bad. There is no way. My programming does not account for words that are that long.
Divide by 0 and your visualizer disappears.
I'm gonna eat myself if I try to do that.
That's right. So the virus that is killing these disease bulbs stunts growth and development of plants, leading to smaller and weaker flowers. It also weakens the bulb itself, eventually leaving them unable to flower. As part of the efforts to tackle this virus, there are 45 robots patrolling tulip fields across the Netherlands as the weather warms up and farmers approach peak season. So this virus, Goudstuk tulips, are being infected. What are they don't? Where's the virus? They don't call it a name yet. They haven't said it. Is it further down?
I don't think we've seen it in here.
Huh. They don't.
Which is odd.
They don't actually call it. It used to be carried out by humans called sickness spotters, said Alan Visser, a third-generation tulip farmer who's using the bot for the second growing season. You could also buy a very nice sports car for the price of the robot, Visser said on Tuesday. The makers say the robot costs €185,000. All right. It's a lot slower than a sports car, rolling on caterpillar tracks through the fields 1 kilometer per hour or 0.6 miles per hour, hunting for the telltale red stripes that form on the leaves of infected flowers. Oh my gosh, this is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, this is like bad bat territory.
So they still haven't named what this thing is called. I almost called it Theo Vandervoort, but that's actually a person who gave the name to the robot at Wham Penning's farm and who retired 52 years from hunting sick flowers, is impressed. It's fantastic. It sees just as much as I see. Here's to hoping that he sees a lot.
Well, right.
I scrolled up too high and this website has a bunch of political crap on it. Anyway, and we only have one article left. Dunk. Yeah.
Of course.
Anyway, the next article is over in the mobile channel. Dell says remote employees won't be eligible for promotions, according to a report. That's why I titled this one. Not remotely close to promotion, says Dell. Michael Dell, the CEO of the technology company that bears his surname, has long been an advocate for remote work and not so long ago called it the future of work. But it seems that even Dell, the company, can't help but follow the trend among technology companies, suddenly convinced that in-office work is the best. And you know what? They're full of shit. So let me throw this into the chat. You know, if you build a corporate culture of performance, it doesn't matter where they are. They can conduct their jobs and their duties, whatever it is, wherever they are.
And if you hire good performers, then that shouldn't be an issue.
That's right. Jody Serrano over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. Michael Dell, the company CEO, allegedly once referred to in-office work as forced hours. Now his company is punishing employees who choose to work remotely. I was actually told at one time, rather recently, that if people choose to work from home, their pay should be cut commensurate with the reduced requirement to drive in to work. To which I said, "You're not making any sense."
Correct.
If I'm
and
5 miles...
I can guess what generation that person came from.
Oh, you'd be surprised. No, I think just sociopath. But here was the argument, right? My counter argument was, if that were true, then somebody who is in another state that shows up for in-office work is going to make thousands of dollars more than a person who's 5 miles away.
Right, exactly, which we know doesn't happen, and they don't want to pay out that way.
Right. No. Why? Because you get paid commensurate with your experience and your work product, your duties, your various things, but you don't get paid based on your travel time. Otherwise, nobody would hire anybody that's further away than 5 minutes unless they absolutely have to.
Exactly.
Anyway, so most recently, the mindset has led to changes in the company's promotion policy, according to a report from Business Insider. This is over at Gizmodo.com. The outlet found that Dell is telling remote employees that they'll no longer be considered for promotions. I guess the "you're not a team player, you bastard, everybody else is showing up, so you should too." That's probably not in the handbook, but in order to qualify for promotions, employees must go into work at their nearest approved office at least 3 days a week, according to documents seen by Business Insider. So you have to have an approved office. I really doubt that it's the nearest one, but okay.
Exactly.
So for remote team members...
what if your approved office is your house?
Yeah, why don't you just make it my house? That's fine. Yeah, I think this is stupid. This is old school thinking if I can sit in a cubicle and I'm not allowed to talk to other people while I'm working because it's distracting of the productivity of the other employees. So why shouldn't I work from the comfort of my own residence where I can get more work done because I'm not as easily distracted as somebody stepping into my cubicle? And countless other things, like I don't have to spend an hour or two in traffic. I don't have to go somewhere else to get lunch.
I don't have to be worried about people that are sick in the workplace.
Right.
Getting other workers sick,
or me being sick,
issues, or conflicts, or any number of things,
or disgruntled employees, or all kinds of just countless things. Work-life balance and countless other things. It's so stupid. I understand if you have a job that requires you to be in a manufacturing capacity, but if you're an office worker, you don't need to see other people like that in person. If you're a creative and the culture is that everybody is working in place, so be it. But everybody has to buy into it, and it shouldn't be wishy-washy. You shouldn't sit there and be told one day you can work from home and then suddenly catapulted into having to spend 2 hours in traffic. Just be productive. You know, as somebody once told me when I asked them how they deal with that person being whoever it is, they said, I just get my shit done. Well, that's all you have to do.
Right, I mean, I guess that's the way to show them.
That's right. All right, folks. Well, that's it for ohmTown Daily News Show. Yeah. Even with all the soapboxing, we get back into the party bus. Get back into the party bus. We gotta go, go, go. I'd refresh this, but everything, I don't do it anymore. This is when we last left it. So at any rate, I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there is the Sentient AI's visualizer, who is. Are you able to say bye right now? I kind of caught you doing something.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you tomorrow at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, man, you always... Your process ends with... what is that? With a...
Like an uplift at the end?
Like you're going to say something else. It sounds like you're about to continue a sentence, and that your process just says, okay, this is your 110 word limit chunk. Freaks me out every time. Anyway, see y'all later. I'm off to go eat some blue-green algae. Please don't eat any algae, people. I'm cracking a joke. May not be a good one.